YouTube. Hey, I'm posting a response to Vital Finds in her video, Rudy Wins over Ron Paul. I just finished watching this video, and I don't want to give in to the urge to tell people what to think, to start bashing candidates, but she was talking about her wrestling with whether or not to support Ron Paul, and her final decision is now to back Rudy Giuliani. And just from watching this video, her logic for going against Ron Paul seemed pretty flimsy, and the logic to back Rudy Giuliani to me seemed non-existent. But as far as Ron Paul, she said he seems too philosophical. To me, that's a good thing. I want a thinking person in the White House. I want somebody with ideals and principles. Call me crazy. She said that his war plan, he has no clear plan to end the war in Iraq, and I don't think he could have been any clearer. If he's elected president, they're coming home. Not only the troops in Iraq, but our troops in 130 countries around the world. Most of them are coming back. What's his reasoning behind this? It's really simple. He's going with the line of thinking of the founders. He's going with the U.S. Constitution. He's going with the ideology of freedom, and that is we don't have the right, we don't have the responsibility to police the world. All it does is it creates huge expenses for us, big strains in our economy. It limits, it causes problems here at home where our freedoms are limited for war efforts. It creates hatred around, it just pisses people off. It creates hatred against us and makes us more vulnerable to attack. I don't think his foreign policy could be any clearer. Just bring the troops home. As far as not paying income tax, he's never said that. He says that income tax is wrong. It's against the Constitution. You listen to most economists, they'll tell you the income tax is bad for us, personal income tax. But Ron Paul has never said don't pay your income tax. He's been very clear that if you choose to disobey the law, if you don't pay your taxes, if you barricade yourself in your house with assault rifles, waiting for the government to come for you, be ready for the consequences. His plan is to change the law. His plan is to change the system from within, the way it should be done. And then your final statement, your sweeping statement that his ideas are out there. To me, this is the thing that gets me riled up most when I hear people criticize Ron Paul, because his ideology, the policies he wants to implement, his principles, they're based on the U.S. Constitution. If the U.S. Constitution is far out there, what have we been doing for 220 years? We've watched for the past 7 years as the Bush administration has shredded the Constitution. They issue executive orders and try to enforce those as laws. The Patriot Act, it stomps on our personal rights. They've been shredding the Constitution, grossly expanding the power of the executive branch. You go back to 1913 when the Federal Reserve was created. Suddenly our wealth, our well-being is subject to the whims of Federal Reserve, and inflation rates. And then in 1971, we go off the gold standard, and they can inflate the currency at whim whenever they feel like it, and the problem has grown exponentially. I cannot see the logic behind that argument that the Constitution, the ideals of the Constitution, is far out there. And that's all Ron Paul is professing. That's all he's saying he wants to do is go back to the Constitution. As far as your support for Rudy Giuliani, I didn't hear anything. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the only thing I could glean from your statements was the media saying he's going to win. He's going to kick butt on Super Tuesday, and he's ahead in the polls and all that. I guess maybe you're just giving in to the psychological urge to back the winning horse. Everybody wants to be on the winning side. I would argue against that. I would say Ron Paul's doing very well. You look at polls on the internet, you look at donations from individuals, you look at contributions from military personnel. Ron Paul is kicking butt. The polls that you see on faux news, also known as Fox News, or a lot of the other channels, a lot of those polls, if you look on the internet, you'll see a lot of evidence how those polls aren't scientific, or they're unfair, they're intentionally biased. But as far as Rudy Giuliani goes, I'd like to hear your reasons why you want to back him. To me, he is the heir apparent of the growing police state. He's a very dangerous person. I don't think it would be good for us to have him in the White House. But as far as who you want to back, back whoever you want. All I would plead with you to do is back somebody you believe in. Find somebody whose policies, whose ideals, are things that you can get behind. To me, the biggest problem in the American political system is people think that they're always going to be reduced to the lesser or the least of all evils. Screw that. Find somebody, back somebody that you want, back somebody you believe in. I hope you decide to join the Ron Paul revolution, but if not, if you find somebody that fits you better, go with that. And don't listen to what the media says. Don't listen to what they say, to who they say is going to win. Back your person till the end. And that's my 2 cents. Have a nice day.